So guys, I'm on the battle to get new cochlear implants, and this has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
But
Pretty much the whole time we've been doing the pod, I feel.
pretty much. But I have to submit a new request this year because I'm now on my wife's insurance rather than my old work insurance. And also things have changed because the warranty's finally expired and my current cochlear implants are now considered obsolete. Which is great because that means the new insurance will be more likely to approve it.
But does it feel great for them to say the tech that your body depends on is obsolete now?
Yeah, I'm like, wow, it's that old, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Maybe you should have given it to me before it went obsolete.
What an idea.
Crazy. So when you get new cochlear implants, usually what you do is you can either self-pay and pay fully out of pocket, which is like $20,000 if you have the money.
Yeah.
Or you can submit and then get reimbursed through your insurance or whatnot. And you submit it through Cochlear, and then Cochlear has a representative that works with you personally, and then also works with insurance.
Okay. So in theory, it should be a smoother process.
Yes,
because of that person.
Yes, but you also need to get letters from your ENT and then also your audiologist proving that you are still deaf and that you still need them. Obviously.
Just in case,
just
like
in
a
case.
medical miracle happened or God intervened and decided to change your entire life.
Exactly. So
happens all the time.
Remember, I got my first surgery when I was 5 on my right ear and the second when I was 16 on my left. So I get an email from Cochlear, the Cochlear representative, and they go, you submitted 2 requests, your right ear and your left ear, but you don't have a left implant. And I go, yes, I do. You put it in my head. And they go, we have no record of that. And I go, but it's in there. And they say, do you have the serial number? And I give them the serial number for the external processor.
Right,
like
the part that's not inside of your head.
The part that's not inside my head. And they said, no. We need the internal processor.
Oh,
the one that's
cool.
inside my skull.
Oh, yeah. Let me just pull that right out for you.
Let me just cut my hair open and get that. And I was like, so I don't have that. And why do I have that? I was 16 when I had it. So I asked my mom. My mom's like, don't have that. I looked everywhere. I'm so sorry. I asked my audiologist. She also said, don't have that.
I don't feel that would be standard procedure either. Like, certainly there's a serial number on my IUD that's inside of me right now. Why would I know what it was?
Why do I have that?
Who would have told me that information?
Right. So I called the Children's Hospital where I had the surgery X amount of years ago. And I get the front desk for the ENT surgeon I had. The front desk person was very nice, and she looked everywhere. She really tried. And she was like, we don't have it. And she explained the process. She was like, the equipment comes straight from Cochlear. They enter that data into their system. The processor goes straight to the OR and then into your head.
Yeah.
Like, there's no handling of it because it has to be sterile.
Right.
And I was like, that makes complete sense. Thank you.
And your doctor's not like, let me check the serial number real quick.
No, she's like, I'm going to put it in her head and make sure it works.
Yeah.
And she was like, but Cochlear should have it. And I was like, honey, that is why I'm here. Help me.
This feels like a job for the person that's supposed to liaison, too.
Like, they should be digging into my records.
Yeah. This doesn't feel like your job.
I know.
The irony also of just, like, being, like, you, a deaf person, can you just hop on the phone, like, a bunch today and call all these people? And it's like, okay, well, me making those calls should be proof that you put an implant in my head.
Literally. I'm speaking to you through the Bluetooth. Bluetooth.
Wow, yeah.
I was on the phone with Cochlear for 2 hours on hold, and then I hung up.
Jesus.
2 hours. I don't know. It feels insane to have this piece of equipment in my body.
That you have to, like, argue.
That I have to argue that I have one.
Right.
And then, also get it upgraded. It just, My body belongs to a corporation.
Yeah.
It belongs to Cochlear Americas.
Well, hey, we're both women. All of our bodies belong to corporations, in a sense. But yours doubly so.
As of 2015 to 2022, approximately over 170,000 to over 183,000 people in the U.S. have received cochlear implants, including around 65,000 children.
And that range is so wide because they're not keeping very good records.
Exactly.
So that's awesome.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Do you want to get to the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Speaking of deafness. Season 1, Episode 21, The Sleep of Reason Produces Monsters, which aired March 13th, 2012.
I have to look up the painting.
It's by Francisco Goya.
Oh, I like that.
It's cool, isn't it? It's a person sleeping, I think, at their desk.
Is this an etching?
It's an aqua tint, which is like a kind of etch print.
Okay, cool.
So I did a little Googling about it, and basically this was during the Enlightenment time, and Spain was kind of behind. They were like very anti-intellectual. It was a critique of Spanish society at the time. Because he was saying, you know, the abundance of imagination without reason or logic will produce monsters. And then, relating to the show, The Sleep of Reason, is Emmett and Simone sleeping with each other.
Oh.
And that creates unfortunate consequences.
Dude, watching them hook up just in the recap, like previously
I
on
know.
Switched at Birth, I had to avert my eyes.
It's
to
much.
look at. Anyway, episode opens. Here comes Daphne.
We're still at the hotel post-game.
It's the morning after.
Daphne knocks on the door to Simone's room and is like, hey, good morning. Sorry for accusing you of trying to get me kicked out of the game. Do you want to get breakfast?
I can't believe she's just like, let's put it all behind us. Yes, you were mad at Simone about that, but more so it was about the watch and the racism and the finding out that she bullied that girl out of school in 8th grade.
Simone is an awful friend, regardless.
Just because she didn't do this one awful thing that you thought she did after you were already mad at her.
Does that negate everything she's done?
Apparently, to Daphne it does. She has like the memory of a goldfish. I don't know.
I guess so.
Well, she doesn't have any girlfriends. She's desperate.
She is. Simone is like, can't do breakfast. The shower's running. And I like that she said the shower's running because Daphne can't hear the shower, so she just believes her. Simone closes the door, and who's behind the door but Emmett, panicking.
He looks so scared. He's like, I gotta go. And she's like, I don't understand what you're saying, but you gotta go.
Very clear what he's saying.
I know.
Again, he's a very clear signer.
He's so clear.
But
he's such a clear communicator until it counts.
True. The two of them scope out the hallway, and then Emmett flees.
The way they did that shot so many times, they have Simone look out, and then they have Emmett look out twice. I was like, they're setting him up to get caught right away. Even though I remember that he doesn't, it's like, whatever.
I thought Daphne was going to pop by and be like, and another thing, but no.
And also, Emmett's like, I gotta go, and I gotta be, like, smooth and chill about it. He leaves the room without his shoes on.
He's like dry heaving
right next to the door and puts his shoes on. I'm like, nothing about this is subtle if anyone you knew came around the corner.
You should just walk calmly and fast.
Right.
Brisk.
Come out fully clothed, maybe. Just a concept. Just an idea.
I know.
For next time.
Next scene, we're back at the Kennish house. Catherine is staring at an email that she's afraid to open.
The first chapter of Sarah Lazar's book.
I am so sick of the Sarah Lazar storyline.
Me too, but I am excited watching Catherine get, like, angry.
That's true. I was satisfied.
And I feel like Bae comes in and gets good advice for her to be like, don't read it. Who cares? Don't let what she's doing affect what you're doing.
Catherine listens at this moment, but not Leia. But honestly, good that she reads it.
Yeah, it is
what
good.
she finds out later on.
But I think Bae's advice is coming from a good place, too.
Yeah. Bae's in the kitchen because she has to get a bunch of paper towels.
Oh, I guess she just spilled some paint off screen or whatever.
Yeah, she spilled a bunch of yellow paint. She's cleaning it up. And then Emmett approaches. And he is being so nice to her now.
It's
so
suspicious.
nice where she's thrown off.
You gotta be more subtle than that.
Yeah, she says, yesterday you were yelling at me.
Yeah, and he's like, anyway, can we get birthday dinner, just the two of us, and, like, make it really chill and nice? And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Whiplash.
Yeah, so she goes straight to Daphne.
This was sweet. I'm loving the sisterly bond.
I love it. They're like besties right now.
Thank
I don't
God.
think it lasts, but I'm really enjoying it.
Love this
I
part.
also feel for Daphne, though. Thank God she's, like, over Emmett. But her being the go-between still, that must be so tiring.
Yeah, Bae goes, why is Emmett being nice to me? Again, Emmett has been awful to her for the past few episodes.
Mean.
So she's like, this is strange. Why is my boyfriend being nice to me? Daphne, did you talk to him? Daphne says, I don't know what's going on, but go with it. Also, I'm shopping for a gift for Emmett, and I found a Diefenstein poster in Italian. And Bae goes, Diefenstein again?
She's like, girl, this is getting old.
Yeah. But Daphne rightfully says, listen, we have a drought. There's not enough ASL movies. There's only like 5 ASL horror movies in the past 50 years. And she's right.
Yeah. And then she says it's gotten so bad that Emma and I were going to write our own. Like, we even came up with a script and everything. And Bay was like, oh, well, let's just do that for his birthday.
And what's it called?
Dawn of the Deaf.
That's kind of fun.
It's good.
Yeah.
Daphne is like, are you sure? Because we wanted it to be good. Like, we wanted there to be zombies that aren't cheesy. Which is just so funny because I was like, Daphne, have you not seen Defenstein/Defula? Like, they are cheesy.
That's what makes it fun.
That's what makes it fun.
And once they film it, it's kind of cheesy.
Most zombie movies are cheesy. Zombie movies are either terrifying and, in my opinion, not that fun to watch, or they're a little cheesy, and that makes them fun.
Well, Bay's like, don't worry, because John and Catherine will put a buttload of money into this.
They love a project.
Next scene, Catherine is chasing after Regina, and she's like, please, I need your involvement in this book. And Regina says no.
I think Regina should be more cooperative. She gets there later on in this episode, but I think she should be more cooperative.
It's not even a conversation.
Yeah, I don't want to be like, Regina, you owe them. But I feel that Catherine has not kicked you out of the house after you revealed that you knew about the switch and you, like, fucked up the whole lawsuit. Not kicked you out of the house after you allowed Angelo back in, even though he ended up being really sus. Supported you through lots of things. Generally, I just think Catherine's not your enemy.
She's not.
And Catherine's going to write the book either way.
And she's encouraging you to share your side of the story.
Yeah, she's like, it would actually be so much better because you could do it in your words.
Yeah, whatever.
I think Regina's being ridiculous.
She's always being ridiculous.
What's new?
Daphne goes up to Toby and she says, you're going to do the movie score.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, what kind of music are we feeling? And she says, it all sounds the same to me. But I trust you.
Signing is pretty good. With like the musical terms and stuff. Like, I was like, wow.
Go Toby.
She says it's all the same to me. Is that true?
Not for me.
Right. Well, and also not to Daphne, who is famously a big fan of music.
She's got magic hearing.
Well, she, like, has that whole CD collection that Bay goes through in the first episode. Right. And she's like, I love the vibrations. Like, these are the things I like. I don't know. I think that the score would still matter to her.
I think I can parse out really. I was playing the piano once for me, and they were trying to explain the difference between a major and a minor chord. I couldn't hear the difference. But I can hear when something is like jazzy and upbeat versus like melancholic, you know?
Yeah. And what he was saying was like maybe discordant strings or like a really unsettling, I can't remember what other instrumental terms he used, but he was describing very different things.
Right.
So I was kind of like, okay, I don't know. Let's stick to one narrative about Daphne's feelings on music. I think she would have some opinions.
I'm sure there are plenty of deaf people who can't understand the difference, but I feel like Daphne can.
Yeah.
Whatever. Toby, he was like, I heard Simone tried to disqualify you. That sucks. And Daphne was like, nah, it wasn't her. We're good.
Can't believe they're good. Anyway.
That must have been a crazy breakfast.
Continental breakfast at the hotel.
Yeah. You're right. Adriana's here.
Adriana.
Finally.
She's back.
We're at the guest house, and Daphne is telling Regina about the movie. Regina is not listening.
No. Regina's not clocking in to her shift at Mom.
At Mom. But Daphne's like, John got costumes already. I think it's been like one day. But they are on it.
I love this. This is also how my parents would have been.
Me too.
I mean, they wouldn't have rented. I mean, actually, later on, they're like, they rented a wind machine. It's just a big fan. Like, I also have a big fan like that at my house.
And also a smoke machine. You can get that from your neighbor. It's
or
a Halloween,
like a Halloween
store.
Yeah. No, my parents would have gone all in if I wanted to do something like this too. So I loved seeing them be parents.
But then Regina's like, okay, because John and Catherine are being so involved, I can do makeup. And Daphne goes, actually, Catherine already got a makeup artist, but you can do hair. And Adriana says, I'm gonna go swim. I can't believe you losers have never swum in this pool.
I mean, the pool's so huge for Daphne and has been huge and is kind of at this point symbolic of her feeling immersed in the family. So I get them being like, she hasn't been in the pool yet. But I love the idea that Adriana's swimming like all the time. Because that's what she implies. She's like, I'm going to go for a dip.
As she should.
Love that.
Now we're in Emmett's room, and he is unpacking. He just moved back from his dad's house, back to Melody's. He's unpacking, and he's looking at the pictures of Bay on his wall.
And feeling guilt.
And feeling immense guilt. Melly comes in and checks on him.
And she's trying to be sweet and, like, make him feel better. And she's making him feel so much worse.
I know. She's like, we should do dinner for your birthday, and we should invite Bay. And he goes, no, we're going to do the Dawn of the Death movie. And Melly's like, well, that's okay. Bay can be invited any other time. She's pretty special.
I wish that Melody had also taken any moment to apologize for her energy around Bay at any point, which she still has not done, to Emmett or Regina or Bay.
Right. She has not apologized.
She's never apologized. She's just like, I've changed my mind. It's like, okay.
She's nice.
Yeah, thanks, girl. And also, it's like, she's pretty special because she got involved in this custody battle and fixed it for me. Okay.
Because she brought you back to me.
She's trying.
She is trying.
And then at the Kenish house, Catherine has clearly opened and read the chapter against Bay's advice. And in the chapter, she discloses that Catherine had a miscarriage before having Bay.
Having Daphne, but yes.
Well, yeah. Information that she realizes John must have told Sarah Lazar.
Yes.
Which is an insane violation. So she comes in, she's like, literally, what the fuck? She is shouting at him.
Yeah, and John goes, a lot of couples miscarry. And Catherine goes, that's not the fucking point.
No, it's not. And also, as much as he can be like, well, that happened to us. I was like explaining to her something that happened to us. It's really mostly about Catherine.
And it's also
like it's something intimate happening to Catherine's body.
To her body. And it's very personal, very traumatic.
Yeah. No, John fucked up.
He did.
Big time.
And it also, because he revealed that to Sarah Lazar, I think it also reveals that his relationship to her must have been much closer than something professional.
Yeah.
If he did disclose this miscarriage to her.
Yeah, Catherine's going to tell Regina more later in this episode, but basically there's just like all these rumors about him and Sarah Lazar hooking up.
Yeah.
And the way he acts about her, he's like not helping himself.
Not at all. And Catherine will give him the silent treatment for the rest of the episode.
And he deserves it.
He does.
His immediate reaction should have been, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You're right. I did say that. I was just really upset. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he explains later why it happened, but for his knee-jerk reaction to be like, what? It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Dude.
He deserved the silent treatment.
That sucks.
Now we're at the guest house.
Yeah.
Wilkie's over. Daphne is teaching him ASL, specifically the lines for the Dawn of the Death movie.
I know. I got really excited at first. I was like, oh my God, we were wrong. He is trying. And then I realized...
He's not.
He's not. It's just that he wants to be in the movie. And if he wants to be in the movie, as Daphne says, you have to sign.
Right.
And so he's learning just the lines for the movie. He
so
is
annoying.
At first, he's like got a bad attitude about it. And then I feel like when he comes back, he's like a little bit more committed.
He is.
I just think Wilkie's not the kind of... He's not used to trying in relationships.
Or at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he tries in school.
No.
Or anything.
So in that regard, I think being with Daphne is good for him.
That's true.
Because it's forcing him to try stuff out of his comfort zone, but I don't think that he's good for Daphne.
I agree. I also like this part because it's a nice informative piece about ASL for the viewers. The line she's trying to teach him is, are you a student? But the way you would sign that in ASL is student you.
Yeah.
And then when you do yes or no questions, your eyebrows are up. But then when you do who, what, where, when, why questions, your eyebrows go down.
Yeah.
And Wilkie's like, why are we doing it like we're Yoda? And Daphne explains, it's ASL order usually goes topic, subject, object, then verb.
It is the hardest part of the language to me. It does not make sense to my brain.
The order is a little confusing. But she's right. And it was nice to share to the viewers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Daphne, for the most part, and everyone else pretty much, they're simcomming, but they're also doing signed exact English rather than true ASL.
Because they're simcomming.
Because they're simcomming. But even when Daphne signs, like true Emmett, no simcomming, she does signs signed exact English, or SEE, instead of true ASL, with that grammatical structure. I don't know.
It's a bit bothersome that they don't, because there are people that use SEE. Like,
yeah,
it's not
I do
like,
most of the time.
it's, and you know, it's not right. It's like a different.
It's just a different grammatical structure, but it's still the sign language.
It's just not ASL.
Correct.
Grammar structure. I wish they'd added like 2 more lines to clarify that, you know?
I know.
Because I think like, I mean, it's because Wilkie doesn't know. But let's say Wilkie does know and could be like, I don't understand. This isn't the way you've been teaching me. For her to be like, well, we're doing the film in ASL, but I typically communicate in SEE because that's what's easier for my mom and my grandma and all these people in my life.
That's a good point.
That I feel like could have been illuminating. I do remember being 12 and like not understanding why, you know?
It would have been nice for her to just elaborate a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
And also maybe give some more lines that Wilkie had to say. While Wilkie takes a little signing break, he looks around the guest house and he goes, you know, Toby and I, when we were kids, we used to hide out here and then made Bay go get us cookies. And another light that would have been you getting us cookies. It's a cute line.
It's really nice, but it does unfortunately spark the start of Daphne's spiral crisis that happens throughout this episode. Throughout this episode, it's important to note that she is like very quietly,
wistfully,
sort of going through this like yearning and sadness as she's exploring new parts of the Kentish grounds. Because the next scene, her and Emmett are like scouting shooting locations on the property.
They must own like 10 acres.
Yeah, because they're in a part of the yard that we've never seen, but also it seems like they've never seen because we're next to an aviary.
Daphne goes, I've lived here for months and I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's like a huge bird cage, and Catherine is pulling decor out of like a storage shed that we've also never seen.
Yes.
And she's like, look at all these like Halloween decorations that we can use, whatever.
She pulls out a little grave.
Yeah.
Little prop grave. She's so excited.
This is the way parents should be.
I know.
Supporting their child's creativity. This
Regina,
is awesome.
where are you?
Literally. Well, she's like pouting because she can't provide this for Daphne, but she literally could, and she helps out later. Like, I don't know. She's pouting for no reason. Or she has her reasons, but I don't like them.
I also want to add that while Daphne and Emmett are walking on the grounds, they're discussing, like, the pacing and the script and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Emmett makes a fun allusion. He says, in the story, I'll be doomed once Bay realizes I'm a monster.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
It's great. Yeah, but then they find the aviary. Or they find this house and like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And Catherine goes, that's an aviary. But we never turned it into an aviary because when Bay was little, she didn't want us to imprison the birds. So it just turned into a playhouse.
Daphne looks down and Bay and Toby's handprints are in the concrete laid around the aviary.
Yes, it's from June 16th, 2000. So Bay and Daphne must have been 4 at the time. But then Daphne incorrectly says, so Bay was 5, and Catherine says yes. That's not true. They were 4 years and 7 months.
I love that you paused it to look it up.
Guys.
I did not pay attention to the date.
Basically, we see Daphne sadly looking at this, reflecting at the childhood she was supposed to have. Those were supposed to be her hands on the cement.
Yeah. This is it's like the first time in a minute I feel that, I guess she was so worried about basketball and stuff, she didn't really have time for like an identity crisis, but
it's coming. No one's
now.
Processing this.
Yeah. This also, seeing all of the grounds and stuff, made me re-look up like where were they filming, and just reminded that all of the sets were in a studio lot in Santa Clarita that I have also worked at as a background actor.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So I was like, oh wow, that's cool. I wonder if they're still there. They definitely aren't.
Now we're in the kitchen and Catherine was on the phone with Craig Tebby, the lawyer. Apparently, Angelo left some belongings in a storage locker in the basement of his apartment building, and he recommends that they go see it along with the private investigator. And John says, well, Regina should go. She knew him the best, and she could find out something that maybe we couldn't.
I do feel like everyone's acting like Angelo's dead, like the way they're speaking about him and stuff. It's kind of crazy.
He has been.
I know he's missing, but they don't actually think he's dead.
They do speak like he's dead. You're right.
Dead to them, I guess.
Yeah. Bay is asking a Buckner kid now for the video equipment. And she's like, I really need the camera. It's for a zombie movie I'm making. And then this is where we get the Twilight reference.
Twilight reference.
Another Twilight reference. And this guy goes, why don't you add a brooding vampire and an oversexed werewolf? Then you can hit all 3 horror cliches at once. But he's basically like, no, you haven't even taken Mia Studies 1, so you can't have a camera. And even if you did, it's already checked out by Simone and Sinclair. Cut to next scene. Bae runs up to Simone in the library again. Everyone's yapping in the library.
Yeah.
And she's like, hi, I want to talk to you about something. And Simone is shaking in her boots.
Simone goes, here? You want to talk here? Girl, even if she did know, I feel like they would have this confrontation in the library. The way they disrespect the library.
People are studying there, guys.
Yeah, shut up.
But Bae goes, oh, I just want the video stuff. We're doing a movie. And Simone immediately is like, yes, absolutely. You can have it.
Yeah. And then Bae stands up and goes, oh, by the way, I heard what happened at the tournament. And Simone's like, oh, well, listen, here's what happened. And Bae's like, relax, you'll win the next one. I love this vocal thing that Vanessa Morano does for Bae when she's like a little uncomfortable. She's like, go Bulldogs. Like, it's like very like weird in her throat.
It's a scarf.
It's literally, it's a scarf. Go Bulldogs.
Simone is visibly sweating.
Yeah. And then, yeah, at the Kenish house, everyone is getting zombified.
It's movie shoot day.
Yeah, it's so 2012.
It's awesome. It also must be the crack of dawn because people keep mentioning how early it is.
It's the dawn of the death.
That's so true. Adriana's in the movie.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Love that.
I'm glad she got a role. They have a smoke machine. They got a wind machine.
Again,
John and
just a big fan.
Just a big fan. John and Wilkie are playing guards. Regina's doing hair. And Regina looks at the wind machine and goes, can't they use actual wind? Leave it be.
Again, it's just a big fan. For that to be her breaking point is so funny.
She was annoying the hell out of me.
She's being so pouty.
And then it's time to start filming. And then poor Toby does not know how to use this equipment.
No.
He grabs the camera and he's like, it keeps saying standby. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's not good at it.
Yeah. Catherine is preparing a platter of food.
Mm-hmm.
So much food for the kids in the shoot.
This kitchen, when she's like in there with the spread in like the dining room area, sure. I feel like we are almost never in that room. There were a lot of new angles of the Kenish house in this episode,
it was cool.
I felt. But it looked exactly like my friend Zoe's house.
Fun.
And I was like, oh, love that kitchen. And then I was like, I've kind of been in that kitchen, actually.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zoe. She does listen to the pod.
Hi, Zoe. She's still giving John the silent treatment.
Yeah.
And John goes, Catherine, it just came out. I couldn't help it. I don't know if that's just something that comes out.
I just, like, don't feel sympathy for him.
Me neither.
I also think they're going to spend the rest of this episode arguing, and we don't really get a resolution on whether or not he slept with Sarah Lazar. Like, he's always just like, I told you I didn't. It's not that it doesn't matter that he didn't. But I do think the fact that he carried on with a relationship that was even able to, like, spread rumors like that.
It's quite emotionally intimate.
Yeah, it was quite emotionally intimate. And also, like, if your wife is worried that you're sleeping, that you are having an affair with this person,
maybe back off a little.
Maybe back off, even if you're not, you know? Like,
yeah, if it gets to that point.
If it's really starting to threaten your marriage, like, I don't think Catherine's being unreasonable.
Me neither.
To be like, you were having lots of intimate dinners and, like, talks about, quote, baseball with this woman, and then you told her these intimate details. Obviously, this is in the past now, but like, even how he's handling it today, even if he's innocent, you're not behaving in a way that makes me want to root for you.
And Catherine Leo says there's also the compounded stress of the media and, like, the paparazzi talking about these two.
Right.
So it seems like they were seen together a lot, that even the paparazzi was like...
Yeah, I guess John is, like, more famous than we think he is.
He's a famous baseball player.
You know, I don't really care about sports like that, so I guess I wouldn't really know the equivalent.
Like A-Rod.
Yeah, I couldn't recognize him on the street. Those are, again, names I know, but not, like...
But
I understand what you're saying.
Do you remember, like, when the Tiger Woods chain scandal came out and that was huge?
Yes, but I think that was an anomaly. Why were we all acting like those were our parents?
I know, that was crazy.
I was like, he needs to be in federal prison.
He's the worst person ever.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it helped that I was like, just young enough that I was not sure who was Tiger Woods and who was...
The girl?
No. Like, I mixed up Tiger Woods and... What's his name?
Is there another golf player?
No, the guy that killed all those people. The guy that killed his girlfriend. If the glove don't fit, you must have
O.J.
quit.
Simpson?
Yes. Because didn't O.J. play golf?
He was a football player.
Oh, well, see, I don't know. I feel like I saw on tabloids, like, stuff about OJ and then stuff about Tiger Woods. And
like it was the same.
My brain, like, morphed them together. So I was like, I'm not actually sure what crime was committed either way.
Two completely different crimes.
I know. Well, one's not crime.
Yeah, one's not technically.
But in my brain, you know, like, I don't know. It's like how I was also really scared of Michael Jackson when I was 9. Because all the paparazzi photos of him made him look so scary.
Right.
And then all the coverage was like, he's dead.
I took it so personally when he died. I didn't listen to any of his music except Thriller. But I remember the day he died.
Me too. I remember seeing, like, well, I guess it was the next day. I remember seeing his face, like, splashed on magazines and being like, whoa.
Yeah. But also it was scandalous because he died from those drugs. From
right.
Overprescribing.
Yeah.
I know so much about the O.J. Simpson case because I used to be really into it.
So you've watched a lot of documentaries?
I have. O.J. Made in America is really good, guys.
I haven't seen any documentaries, but I listened to the Celebrity Memoir Book Club episode about Kris Jenner's memoir. It's a 2-parter. I actually really recommend it. It's very interesting.
Mm.
But obviously she was best friends with his girlfriend.
Well, she was married to Robert Kardashian, who...
But she was also best friends with O.J.'s girlfriend.
Oh, Nicole Brown Simpson.
Yes. Well, wife, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. They were best friends when that happened.
Yes.
And then her and her husband were divorced already.
Her and Robert Kardashian were divorced? Yeah.
So imagine your best friend gets murdered.
And then your ex-husband is
representing... Yeah.
That is crazy.
I don't know if we can get sued on the podcast for being like, OJ did it. But, like, obviously OJ did it.
He did.
Like, obviously. So, like, sure. Everyone knows. He even came out with a book called If I Did It.
If I Did It. And this is how I would do it.
That's an insane thing to do. Is he dead?
No, he's still alive. He's out of prison. Oh, wait. Actually.
I think he's dead.
I think he just died.
Yeah.
He died last year.
Aww.
That's right.
I bet he's smiling up at us right now.
Well, now he really can't sue us.
Good point. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Phew. Anyway, all that to say, I guess it is hard for me to remember that John was, like, famous enough. So then, yeah, if I'm Catherine, I'm fucking pissed, dude.
Agreed.
I'm so pissed. Especially now that this woman is writing the book. That is so... I feel like... I know she already looked into, like, if there would be a lawsuit, I would still try to sue. I would still slap whatever, like, stupid case on her.
Absolutely.
Anyway, fuck Sarah Lazar is the point.
Yeah. Toby is trying to fix the camera. Wilkie's like, just call Simone. She obviously knows how to do this better than you can.
And he says, I'm kind of on probation since I didn't go to her tournament. You're on probation?
She should be on probation.
She should be. Toby's so bad at holding a grudge.
So is Daphne.
The memories of a goldfish, I'm telling you.
Like brother, like sister.
Wow, runs in the family.
I guess so. Next scene, Catherine has brought Regina to Angelo's storage unit. The private investigator opens it, and he's like, go have fun. I guess he doesn't look. He's an investigator.
Regina and Catherine are going through it. Regina is clinging to that cup of coffee. She's like, I'm not a morning person. Girl, you were already up doing the hair.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They're digging through boxes, and Regina finds a wooden box, and she opens it, and inside is pictures of Angelo with another woman.
Every time that actor gets a call from Switched at Birth, it's to do a photo shoot with some random ass.
It's a random white woman.
Yeah, it's just like some random ass person. And they're like, okay, change 7 times and take these 7 photos.
Perfect, thank you. That's a wrap. And Regina goes, maybe he went to see her. I'm confused. Was he not deported?
They don't know.
They don't know.
No, and Regina's called immigration a bunch and they have no record of him. But that doesn't mean anything. I know, but she's like, I don't know. I mean, Angelo's slippery.
He's just missing.
Yeah, he's just missing.
Bay and Emmett are messing around on the Great Lawn.
I remember this scene of them play fighting so well. It's
really?
Like burned into my memory. They just have so few, this far into their relationship, they have so few happy moments. And it's very cute. And I really had a huge crush on Emmett when I was watching this as a kid. So
but this lasts for 10 seconds.
Yeah, but it's so cute. They're play fighting with the big fake weapons, and he takes his scythe and scythe? Is that how you say it? SCYTHE?
Asking the wrong scythe.
The thing that Death holds canonically.
Yes.
That weapon.
The big sharp weapon.
Yeah.
They're sword fighting with that.
It's a big hook.
Yes.
And he hooks her and pulls her in, and they kiss. And then she trips him, and they tumble down the hill.
It's cute.
Yeah. And then she's like, we should get back to studying our lines. And he's like, yeah, the part where we kiss.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
But then Toby and Simone come in.
Oh.
And Bay is like, oh, Emmett, this is Simone. Simone, this is Emmett. Emmett cannot even look at Simone.
Such a bad liar.
Worst birthday ever. Today is his birthday.
You know what? Sometimes you have to face the consequences of your actions.
Which Melly's going to say later, thank God.
Well, that's actually kind of not what she says.
A little bit. She says you have to live with this. She didn't say you have to face the consequences.
We'll get there. I had feelings.
We're back at the storage unit. Catherine is talking to Regina again about the book. But she finally says, listen, Sarah Lazar is going to...
She doesn't even tell her that to try to win her over. Like, maybe you should have mentioned that, girl.
Well, before that, she says, I'm mad at John.
Yeah.
Because Sarah Lazar...
Because she's trying to make Regina feel better about Angela being with other people.
Yeah.
And Catherine's like, I get it. Even the idea of John being with someone else is making me mad. There's all these rumors about him and this reporter. And Regina's like, fuck her. And Catherine's like, yeah, especially because she's now writing a book about my life.
Mm-hmm. Regina says... As someone who was that woman, I bet Sarah envied you. And Catherine goes, I even went to a plastic surgeon. I was so insecure.
What do you think she was trying to get done?
I don't know. Nose? Her
She's
face
like
is perfect.
Beautiful. Maybe boobs.
I guess.
I mean, Sarah Lazar.
I didn't look, but I believe it.
I was looking. They were crazy.
But then Catherine's like, Regina, Sarah is writing a book about the Switch. And Regina's like, shit, okay. So I think she's like, okay, I'm in.
She's coming around.
Yeah. Now, Toby is filming Bay and Emmett's scene. They're doing a scene where Emmett has a wound on his arm. It looks like he's just been bitten, but it's going to be before he turns into a vampire.
Zombie.
It's before he turns into a zombie. And Bay is like a zombie hunter. She finds him and is like, oh no, are you injured?
Okay. Why are they simcomming in Dawn of the Deaf? Why is Bay speaking out loud in a silent film? It gets to a point.
Daphne and Emmett wrote the script, so this is their choice.
Well, and Daphne is like yelling at Wilkie earlier, like, you have to be able to sign. It's a silent film. It's signing only. Bay's not even signing all of the words she's saying.
No, she's not.
She's got lines. She's got other lines.
She just touches her arm and goes, are you hurt?
Literally.
That's it.
Anyway. But we have to move on from this because it's making me mad.
We cut the scene, and I love Catherine because she jumps in the air and cheers after every take.
Cute.
She's so excited. And Bay's like, Mom, you have to stop doing that after every take. And she's like, but it's so fun.
She's a cheerleader.
Simona's in this room. Everyone's in this room. Toby's like, I don't know how to use a camera.
I like how useless he is in this episode, honestly.
And then Simone says, we can create a backup file, which I think you should have done in the first place, but okay. But then Toby's like, okay, so you know way more about cameras than I do, so you will be a new camera operator. Thank you.
She just gets trapped into it.
Yeah,
basically. They just bully her into staying. And then Emmett, meanwhile, is like, leave. He's like typing out on his phone, like, go.
He types on his phone, you have to go, please. And Simone's like, I would love to. I personally would love to, but I'm being held hostage now. And then Emma is signing, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And then Bay comes over.
And she's like, oh, hey, are you guys chatting? Do you want me to interpret? And they're like, no.
Her sign for interpret was making me mad.
What was she doing?
She was going like this.
Oh, yeah, that's annoying. How do I describe it?
Well,
it's the F hand shapes and the...
One moves.
Yeah, one moves up and down a little
one
bit.
doesn't.
But Bay was doing
like, well, it's almost Olympics.
She's still learning.
I know. It was just like the irony of her being like, do you want me to interpret? And doing it wrong.
Right, exactly. Catherine is showing off the blood that she made.
She's so hot and cool. I love her so much. Like, her being, and then Melody being like, put some in my coffee. And they're kind of like flirting in a like
fun.
cute way.
They're like moms having fun.
Yeah.
I just know Catherine like looked up a blog.
Yeah.
A mommy blog about how to make chocolate sauce. Yeah, she says
the secret is chocolate sauce. It should be noted throughout this episode, like, Wilkie multiple times is like drinking the blood, basically. And Toby's chocolate. Like, what are you doing? And it's chocolate sauce.
Regina gets an emergency call from Geraldo, and he's like, you have to do hair for this wedding. Our stylist just canceled. And Regina's like, shit, I gotta go. We really need the money. I guess.
I also was like, what? Because she's not paying rent.
I don't know.
Like, how badly do you really need the money?
That's my question. Because all this money to the salon was Angelo's.
And Adriana works too.
She's a caretaker or a nurse. Yeah.
So they're a 2-income home.
Yes.
With no housing expenses. I just like don't think I have a firm grasp on Regina's financial situation. Maybe and it's worse than we thought.
They don't tell us though.
No. It's just for comparison between her and Catherine. Like, Catherine spending her whole day being cool mom, throwing this huge film shoot for the kids, making fake blood, being like awesome with all the friends. And Regina's literally like,
I have to go
work. We really need the money.
And Daphne's so disappointed.
Yeah, she's really upset. I understand.
Next scene, everyone is in their house getting ready to shoot another take. Emmett is frantically texting Simone, basically probably saying,
from across the room. Leave. Yeah, literally they're like, we got to figure this out, blah, blah, blah. Some very incriminating text messages.
Also, they saved each other's numbers with the contact names.
If you guys, rookie cheating.
Rookie.
Do better.
I know.
If you're going to do bad, do better.
They're setting up to film in the office because Wilkie's playing the guard. And basically, he's going to be like fake texting on the phone when Emmett the zombie comes up and attacks him. So, but before that, Simone played
unlocked phone.
Open, unlocked phone on the desk. And he's like, okay, time to film and action. Oh, and Wilkie's like, oh, I need a phone to like fake text on. And Bay's like, oh, just use this random phone that's on the desk.
Yeah, just use this random pink phone.
Whatever.
It's clearly not. I just mean like.
But it's not his. Or it doesn't look like it.
They've taken a lot of care for some of the set dressing, but then the phone looks very out of place. Anyway.
It does. But anyways, Wilkie is like fake texting, but then he's not fake texting anymore as he's reading
the camera live in real time, the text exchange between Emmett and Simone that basically confirms that they slept together.
Yeah, he turns to Emmett, who's still playing a zombie, and then he turns to Simone, still straight at the camera. And Daphne's like, what are you doing? Cut. That was a great scene, though.
Great scene.
Love seeing Austin Butler's face change in real time.
I think he's just like mostly surprised about Emmett. I don't think he's shocked about Simone's behavior at all.
Yeah.
The way he looks at Simone.
But I think he knows so many people are a part of this. Toby and Bay.
And his best friend and his girlfriend's best friend and the drummer of his band and his best friend's little sister.
Yeah, it's just so much. He's like, ah.
Yeah, I would be freaked out too. Yeah. And then Emmett goes outside.
At the maze garden.
Yeah.
They have a maze garden?
I guess so. Gorgeous. Gorgeous property.
I know.
Gorgeous. Stunning.
He's sitting alone sad. And then Melly comes by.
She's trying to have a mom moment.
Yeah, and she goes, are you okay? And he does the teenager thing.
He's like, fine, stop it. And then he's like, I'm not fine.
He says, stop asking me if I'm okay, which is what everyone says when they're really okay.
So true.
But then he goes, Mom, I made a mistake. It was with another girl. And now I ruined everything with Bay. And Bay doesn't know.
Some great acting from Marlee Matlin in this scene.
She goes, I know you've been upset about the custody battle, but you know it wasn't Bay's fault. You're going to have to live with what you did, but you also need to decide if Bay should live with that too. If it was truly a mistake and it will never happen again, is telling Bay going to help? That's for you to decide.
How did you feel about this?
I think Melly's speaking from her perspective because I think Cameron cheated on her.
Interesting. With Olivia?
With Olivia. And I think she alludes to that in one of the earlier episodes. So I think she was kind of like, ignorance is bliss. Look where that got me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, this kind of ties back to like, Bay never found out about Emmett and Daphne kissing when they had just started dating. And I think in that scenario, I agree with Melody completely.
Yes.
Like, Bay doesn't need to know about that it doesn't really affect their relationship. I don't feel that anything was fundamentally broken there.
I agree.
I think now having this kind of secret between them would destroy the relationship with or without Bae knowing, especially because it's someone I think no matter what, I think she deserves to know. I think once it gets to a place of like sex,
and also I think he did it as an act of retaliation against Bae.
Exactly. And it like changed the whole dynamics around that fight, and she's confused by that. She deserves to know, but I do think that I could see more, like I understand where Melody's coming from. I think I could be more on her side if it was truly a stranger. Like if he had met someone completely unrelated to his life and slept with them, I think there's a world where he could be like, he could reason his way into like, well, it's never going to happen again and I'm not going to say anything. But the fact that it's Bae's ex-best friend, Daphne's current friend, and Toby's girlfriend.
Like she's very intertwined with the Canishas.
Yeah, there's just no world where that doesn't even, I guess so much of like what's wrong with cheating, in my opinion, is the betrayal and like making the other person feel like a fool, or like making a fool of that other person. And so in a world where she's having to look Simone in the face every day and Simone knows and Bae doesn't know, that itself is, I think, mostly the cruelty of it.
That's so true. They go to the same school.
Yeah, like that's the violation. Like obviously there is the like broken monogamy of it all, and that bothers me a little bit less than the fact that there are so many people involved. It's just this big secret like that's gonna be hanging over their relationship, and to deny her the knowledge of it is like, that's what's fucked up. I think
Melly also knows that she cannot tell Emmett what to do.
No, I think she says she definitely can't tell him what to do, but I don't know.
Because I feel like Emmett is never receptive to what his mom tells him.
No, that's true. But I feel like what she ends up saying leads him to make the choices he makes later in this episode, and I don't agree with them.
To not tell Bae.
Which is to not tell Bae yet. I really thought this episode ended with him telling Bae.
Me
but
too.
It doesn't.
Because it really builds up, and then he's like, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Simone now is grabbing a snack. She's eating some zombie fingers at the dining room table, and Wilkie confronts her. And apparently there were rumors already that Simone had a boy in her room, so this just kind of adds to that. But Simone immediately confesses, and she's like, it was a mistake, I was sad, and I was drunk, please don't tell anyone. And she says, we shouldn't blow something out of proportion over something that meant nothing. And then Wilkie says, but Toby is my best friend, and what about Bae? And then Simone is begging him. Yeah.
I get it. She's already the villain.
She is. Now we're filming the scene where Bae has to shoot Emmett the zombie. Emmett plays a great dead guy, I will say. He's on the floor, mouth open, eyes open. It's really good.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap on Dawn of the Deaf. I wish we could see it.
I know.
I wish they would have just added in a little, like, post-credits, or even while the credits run. Like, show us the clips that they, quote, filmed.
That would have been so good.
Would have been fun.
Yeah, while the film wraps up, Melly comes in with a cake, with a zombie hand coming out of the cake.
So cute.
It's really cute.
And then Bae says to Emmett, no Simcom for once. Like, it wasn't my idea, I promise. Like, so you can sign without speaking.
So you can sign. And then Toby's like, Wilkie, come join us. We're all going to have cake and whatnot. And Wilkie's like, sorry, I have homework. I need to go. And Toby says, stay. Simone is blowing off homework, whatever. And Wilkie says, well, Simone can get away with it.
While that's all going down, Daphne's having her own, like, little quiet moment on the grass, taking it all in.
Sitting outside alone in the dark.
Yeah. And Regina comes back, and she's like, ugh, I missed it. I missed everything. And Daphne's like, yep, you really did.
And Regina goes, I'm sorry, I couldn't be that mom that gets you the fog machine and the big fan and the chocolate blood.
Stop putting it on Daphne to have to, like, hype you up.
I know. And Daphne goes, Mom, it's not about the money.
Yeah, she's like, it's not about the stuff. It's like being here and realizing that you kind of robbed me of this entire childhood I was supposed to have. And she says, like, I don't want to be mad at you my whole life, but, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
Yeah, and she said, it's not that you were a bad mom. You were a great mom. And you told me I can do anything with my life. But why did you think I couldn't handle the switch?
Yeah.
And Regina says, but you were 3 when the switch happened. And Daphne goes, but What about when I was like 5 or 7 or 10? And Regina says, she kind of confesses, like, I don't think I could have handled it.
And that's totally true. She
couldn't have.
No, she doesn't even like sharing Daphne with them now.
No. But Daphne says, I have been trying to be okay with this, but there's so many memories here. Like at the aviary and the pool.
Yeah, and she's like, all the family vacations I should have been on, that I wasn't. Like, all the holidays. And
Regina says, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, Regina literally is like, all right, she's definitely running away, but I think she's trying to be like, I'm going to remove myself from this situation. You should go inside and have cake with your real family. Like, that's like the way she frames it.
Kind of.
So she dips out.
But she doesn't let Daphne finish her thoughts.
No.
It was not my favorite.
She still can't handle it now.
No, she can't. Catherine is in the kitchen cleaning up. No one is helping her.
But Regina comes in and Regina helps, kind of.
Does she?
She makes a big show of taking plates out of Catherine's hands and putting them in the sink.
Okay, great.
But Regina's like, I'll do the book. That's what she says. Or she's like, I'll help. Like, I'll cooperate.
Yes.
So Catherine's very happy about that. And then Catherine goes upstairs and is like, anyway, fuck you, John. Regina's gonna help me because she wants me to kick Sarah Lazar's ass. And John's like, whoa. And then Catherine's like, and also fuck you. And then John is like, I'm gonna go sleep downstairs. Kind of crazy.
As he's going downstairs, he bumps into Bay, who's on her way to take Emma home. And Bay asks, is everything okay with you and Mom? And John says, your mom and I are going through something, but it's going to be fine. We're committed to each other, and when you're committed to each other, you work things out. And you can see Bay really internalizing and absorbing this.
Yeah. And then Regina goes back outside. Daphne's sitting on the stairwell. It's not that big of a house. I love the way that they, like, are somehow missing each other.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They both say they can't sleep, but neither of them are wearing PJs.
No.
No one's cozy.
No. Yeah, they didn't even try.
No.
But right as they're like, I can't sleep, the song that starts
I wrote this. When you can't sleep, when you count sheep.
God, it's so on the nose.
It's very Love is Blind.
It's very Love is Blind. Anyway, they're finally like, you know what? Let's go for a swim.
Let's make our own memories on this property.
Kind of weird. Again, I don't feel that Daphne and Regina aren't the people that need to be making memories here.
No.
They already have memories. That's like the whole point of them living here. Is like Daphne should go swim with Catherine.
She should make memories with her biological family. She has so many memories with Regina.
Right, and Regina should go swim with Bay. Or like, you know, like...
I agree.
It was kind of weird. I think they wanted us to be moved, and I wasn't moved.
I was not moved. I also wanted to just add that Regina does a cannonball in slow motion.
Thank you.
That's it. Yeah, they're making out.
Because it was hot to you?
No.
Just because you just wanted to make sure.
I just thought that was a funny film choice.
Just for the record. Yeah.
Why is it in slow-mo? It's funny.
It is funny.
Thank you. But yeah, Bay and Emmett, the car's like pulled over to the side. They're making out, but you can tell his heart's not in it.
No, because he keeps flashing back to him sleeping with Simone.
And Bay's
again, jump scare.
And Bay's like, what's wrong? Did you hate your birthday?
She just says like, 1 minute you're here and the next year, I don't know where. It was honestly when you texted me, like, there's a Twilight reference in this episode. I thought you were talking about this scene because it's very much giving in New Moon when Bella and Edward are making out on her birthday and he's being weird. And she's like, what's wrong? And he won't tell her. And then the next day he abandons her in the forest.
Extremely specific. We can get really deep into Twilight references if we try.
The parallels are just so clear.
I know.
Anyway, he's brooding and she's like, we've gotten through everything. Like, what is it?
We've gotten through the Jeff hearing thing. I don't know if that's something you get through.
I know. I think that's an ongoing struggle.
As someone who's married to a hearing person. The tie thing. We got through the custody thing. Oh my God, they've been through so much.
It's been like 2 weeks.
We've said, I love you. What's left for us to get through? And you can see she's really internalizing John's comment about commitment.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm committed.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get through it with you.
She says, either you're with me or you're not.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm with you. End of episode.
It makes it look like he's going to confess. You know, like the music swells, but then he just says, I'm with you.
I think because of what his mom said. Like, I think he's like, I can keep this from her. But he can't. And I think if he had been very clear with Melody, like, I slept with Simone, the girl that is here, that is friends with Daphne, that is ex-friends with Bae, that is dating Toby, I think Melody would have been like, dog, yeah, this is done. Like, you gotta tell her before she finds out some other way.
That's true. Melody doesn't know who Simone is, first of all.
No.
And then also Emma just said, I slept with a girl.
Yeah. So for all she knows, it's a stranger, but I think that her advice would have been very different had she realized the context. Ugh. Emmett, what are you doing?
I know. Does he later confess to Bae?
She finds out.
I know she finds out, but I just don't remember how she finds out.
It might be that Simone tells Toby. Because Simone is the queen of confessing before she gets caught to make herself look better. Like, think about the watch situation. I think she does exactly what she did with the watch with this situation.
I'm just trying to rack my brain.
The next episode is when it happens, because they're all at, like, prom or homecoming or some dance. Yeah.
I love when they have an event. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Oh, my God.
Jinx.
Jinx.
Bye.